somebody else's man. Their motives will speak for them, because all the good men can't be gone. They're on your man, and he will take you where you need to go. Anytime you have to go and find somebody's man, you don't know where you're going.
Listen, Crystal's lips, they're bubbling. Crystal wants to say something.
That's right, Onika. I back that 1,000%. You know, if you know what you want, you just have to, I mean, it's not always easy. If you start to get to know someone, you gotta start somewhere. But then when you realize that this person and you are not on the same trajectory, then you gotta try to choose yourself. Choose yourself. Sometimes it takes longer than you would want to get to the point of letting go. Well, that's for me, because Tia will tell you, I hold tight.
Yeah, she got attachment issues.
Right.
What about the quality of honesty? Because you see, a lot of men do not show up as their authentic self. So by the time you realize that y'all are not on the same bandwidth, you're already in love.
Yes.
You're already in love with this man, and you're trying to figure out how you're going to make it work because he showed up as somebody else in the beginning.
The representative.
The representative, right? And let me tell you, some representatives show up for 2 years at a time. We got somebody some of the representatives are on the job for 2 years before you realize who the real man is. And by then, your ovaries are already quivering. You're saying, I can see myself having a baby with this man. You already know what colors you want for your wedding. And then you discover that y'all are not on the same path, and you're faced with the question, do I end this relationship? Do I fight for this? Do I try to change him? Do I try to fix it? So, or do you wait? Will he ever change? Because you know we are guilty of this one. As women, we always see the potential. We see all the potential. But the question is, if he doesn't change, are you okay with who he is right now? Because we fall in love sometimes with who we think that man can become.
Definitely.
And that man has no intention of becoming that person. So you're going to be constantly struggling and bickering and picking at him. And it's like, he's not becoming who you want. And I went through this with Simon. We came to the place at the start of this year. I said, look, just be who you are. Let me figure out if this is where I want to be. Don't be who you think I want you to be. Be who you are. Because if we in this for the long haul, you cannot pretend forever. You need to show up as your authentic self and be honest as a man about who you are, what you want, and what you are able to do. If it is sex that you want, put your cards on the table. We may be on the same wavelength. That might be all I want at that time too. But don't tell me you love me and you want children and you want future. When you know you want sex, say what you want and let me decide if I want to participate.
People pretend because they're looking at the person that you are. Sometimes they're intimidated by who you are. And they are thinking, what does she want? Let me pretend to be this. Sometimes it don't even be pretending. Let me be this person. Be the person that I'm thinking she needs or she wants. When you can't keep up. Is it 2 years? 6 months, a year into the relationship, as you said, when we fall in love, and you recognize this is man in you. Really, man, are you not man? And it's just them looking, sometimes, as I said, it's intimidation. It is, she deserves a good man. Let me pretend or let me try to be this good person. And they're genuinely not.
I'm sorry, ladies, again. I think this comes as a result of a lot of men reaching out to me. And I have heard forever what men complain about. So this is never a case of me picking their side, but being a mediator for my friends or ladies that come to me too, so that they have, because if we're gonna be real, the name of this is called what? Lost in translation. So what men say and what women hear, usually two different things. What women feel versus what men need, usually two different things. And I found over the years I have heard men complain, talk, cry. And when I'm talking to women, it comes over as though I'm choosing the man's side, but I'm actually giving y'all information. I'm actually sharing behind the scenes with y'all so that we can better manage, understand, and
Enlighten us. Tell us what the men are talking about.
the men really want two things. Three, if you're gonna be honest. They want peace.
Yes, glory.
They want Seriously. That's not.
Because when you tell me you want peace, I'm gonna ask you the next question. So what does peace look like for you? Because you want peace.
What is peace if
You
you're
want
living
peace
in
and you're creating problems. You want peace, but you want got 3 women. You want problems. That's not peace.
We ain't talking
You
about that
want
one.
peace.
We ain't talking about that
You
one.
want peace, but you got a kid out here and a kid down here and a kid over there. How are you gonna have peace? You have a social experiment. You got all these child mothers and these children all over the place, and everybody calling with something. How are you gonna have peace? So when a man says to me, I want peace, tell me, what does peace look like for you? Because then that's when we begin to walk out the process.
us keeping our mouth shut when they're doing the most.
Listen, I agree, but I'm actually not talking about those men that don't even need validation right now. We ain't talking about them men that is a waste of time. You can see them as a waste of time. Them is telling us like, we're not talking about them. We're talking about good men. Because as women like us, of our standard, our caliber, with expectations and 3 months, 6 months plan, we're talking about good men, quality men. And if good quality man don't have it all together, they might have a missing part.
But good quality women don't have it all together.
Thank
either.
you. So I'm
So
talking
we're not
about
looking for
those
perfection.
types of relationships that actually matter, that have substance in them, and those men want peace. The difference is I find that we are emotional and they aren't. So sometimes we want them to get emotional about things that they don't even have a feeling about. But it is about communicating and knowing your partner and their communication styles. So for example, I know a guy who gets very quiet. And one time, he be quiet and I be keeping the most noise. Calling all the time, talk to me, showing up, all that. But that was my anxious attachment style. His was avoidance. Like, I can deal with this with Irene. You have to know your partner. And if your partner has enough in them that they need that, give it to them. Because I'll tell you something. When that man done process quietly, he comes back and has a conversation that you want to have and you don't want to say nothing because he has processed. But you're talking about 2 healthy people, and I think that's the most important word.
I was just going to say that because it requires a man who's emotionally intelligent to be able to have the conversation, because some men, they know that they have a feeling on the inside about a particular thing, but they just can't seem to be able to express that thing, right? And so they just use catchphrases. So again, they go back to this thing, well, I just want peace. But what is it that you really want? Is it that I want my partner to understand me? Is it that I don't like arguing? I prefer if she talks to me in a softer tone? Is it that, I don't like accountability? Because let's face it, some men just don't like accountability. It doesn't matter how nice you say, they just do not want to be challenged. Let me do me. And even healthy men, quality men, sometimes don't like accountability. It's uncomfortable for men and women.
Basically, it's
It's
understanding your
uncomfortable.
partner, communicating, just understanding yourself, understanding them, and communication.
That's where your non-negotiables come in. Because you have to know, this is Crystal now speaking, for those on the video. You have to know your non-negotiables. You can understand your partner, you can understand yourself, you know what you want, you know where you're going. You might have 80 or 90% of the qualities in that person, but there's just this one thing that might seem like it's only one thing, but this might just be a non-negotiable. And if you try to go against that, you then change yourself, and that becomes the most devastating part of the problem. So now that I'm at this age and maturity and experiences, I've realized that there are just some things I'm not willing to compromise about. And if I'm not going to be able to do that, then you got to work on just letting it go.
Yeah, I mean, like, I know this one lady, she said to me, for her, something that's very important is being considered. She said, if you are inconsiderate of me, that is equivalent to you hate me. You have to consider. She wants to be considerate, and if she has to tell you how to consider her, well then, like, we're not going any further, because that is a non-negotiable for her. She's like, no, you gotta consider me, because I'm a considerate person. I'm gonna think about you. I need to know that you're considering me, and if that's not happening, we're not going to go much further. So at this point, I want to throw to our audience, our live audience here in the showroom. Ladies, anybody want to tell us some of your non-negotiables, or what's that one quality you're looking for in a man?